Hello and welcome to a new fly tying tutorial with videos on fly fishing. Today I'm gonna teach you how to tie my everyday best Seatrout fly. This is a tube fly. It had produced a lot of fish for me, especially in the year 2016 when I caught 120 sea trout on this particular fly. I'm gonna try to tell you how I make this fly. I have made some little improvements on it, so especially the red head, and I'm gonna show you how I'm thinking and what the materials I'm been using and how to proceed and how to tie this fly. So follow up and I'm gonna show you how. Well, first of all, this is a Seatrout fly on a tube. I have used a little about the materials first. Is this kind of tubing. I use this kind of because it's easier to see what I've been doing. I'm gonna show you how this thickness is. I have this measure tool here, if I can get it to, well, there, let's see. It's about 3 millimeters thick outside diameter, and for the inside tube I use 1 point. Well, let's see. I have to change the angle here. See if I can show it to you. It's a bit awkward. Well, there you have it. 1.85, 83 diameter for inner tube. It was a bit other measurement when I saw it in the right way. 1.81 millimeter on the inner tube. That's the tube. It's a cheap tube I got on a local hardware store. It's nothing special about that. Except the diameter, and you have to be sure to use the right diameter on the inner tube and the outer tube to make it fit together. And inside I use this kind of non-brad shrinking tubing. Shrink tube, the crimp tube. They use this for crimping 2 metal wires together. And make a loop on the end and so on. I got it from, I think it's what Chinese, you see in the label there, but you can also get it in other vendors, but that's the one I got. To show you how I'm thinking, I had a little problem with this tubing and other tubing because the inner diameter on this tubing was so thin that I have to use very thin tubing, and I didn't want that. So I came up with another solution. You see, this is the shrinking tubing. I put it inside the tubing. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do this. This is a big difference. You have also this shine through and this completely sealed inside the tubing, and you have the line is going through like that. You have also the advantage with putting the hook eye inside the tubing, and when the fish when the fish get the hook, it drags it out and it can not break on the hook, but is completely free, just attached to the line. So that's the big advantage with the tube flies. Okay, if you break the hook, if you damage the hook, you can change it, and the fly is completely unharmed. And this particular type of fly, it lasted 70 fish before I have to change to a similar one. So that's a little about the tubing and how I'm thinking. For the hackle, I use some white bucktail, and I use some, just for the occasion, it's not necessary, but I use some Semperfly holographic silver flash, and I also use some Semperfly orange, fluo orange for the head, and I use some non-brand white tying thread. That's not a big thing for me. I use several kinds of threads, and I use some 3mm Stoneflow hollow lure eyes. And for the head, to make this glue all together, I use some Gorilla Glue Clear. This is a very strong glue. It dries fairly quick. It's not like UV glue. I can't use UV glue because I'm allergic to it. I'm also a bit allergic to super glue, but I can use small amounts of it without getting sick. Especially the type I have here. I'm gonna stretch out and get it down from the shelf. This kind, universal glue. I use this in small amounts. This is a gel type. It not fume so much, so I can stand it for a short period of time. Yes. A little about this. I'm gonna measure out how. If I have the right one, yes. The inner tubing, that metal inner tubing, is 2.27 millimeters. It has to be that's sorry, 2.35. Has to be this kind of thickness, because I have to force it inside the plastic tubing to make it stay there. Okay, that's a lot of information for you guys. So this was the introduction. Yes, sure, of course. I have to forget for the feathers. I use some saddle feathers for the sides. It's not so very necessary, but it looks very cool, so why don't use it? I have this cape here, so I don't know if it's whiting or if it's Mets or if it's another vendor, I don't know, but that's not so very important either. So well, I think that was all. I have to now change the angle, and we start on with tying this fly. So welcome to the flying tying part of this video. So follow up. Well, hello and welcome to the fly tying part of this video. Start with putting this weight onto the needle. It stops on the thicker part here, and take this 3mm outer tube and push it on the outside and a little away from that to make a place for the hook. And I also now take my thread, I push it a little more, so I have to on the outside there. Can tighten a little bit on it. And now you take some bucktail, take out the nice healthy bunch. Always take a little bit more than what you need, because you have to prepare it a little bit. You have to take out all the shortest fibers in the bottom and the longest fibers on the end. You don't have to stack it. You can do it if you want, but you don't have to. Sure, will look more nice, but is also will look more unnatural. I measure out how long I want it, snip off, and put it just behind the metal tube. Several wrappings on top, and use your thumbnail to push it onto the tube and try to make it go around. Be sure not to lose your thread or anything. I have several takes on this video. It's a bit awkward sometimes. You have to try to manipulate and get it around. These tubes is very slippery. A little more. Now we got it. Several more wrappings now. See, the tube are slipping. Have to. Now you take some more wrappings here. You can also take some glue. This is a fusion glue, liquid fusion. Take it on to the thread. It will seep in and strengthen the whole thread here. Put on the cap. Some more. And some loose wrappings over this, so you don't have to cut your thread there. Sorry, I have to take on some flash. Sorry guys. It's my own making, but take out some strands of holographic flash. And measure out how long I want it. About the length as the bucktail. And about 60-40 measure out. Like that, and around a couple of times, and use your thumbnail just to distribute it around sometimes. So, and now we go forward. And about there where you want the second bundle of bucktail, take out the second bundle, just the same amount about with bucktail. Do the same procedure, take out the shortest fiber and the longest. Now I try to make it taper a little bit. This is an awful looking kind of bucktail, but I have to comb it out. It's not completely clean, so there you have it. A little taper there, and use the same as this last time. Snip it off, and some loose wrappings on top. just take it around and look, see if you have completed all the way around. That worked completely fine. Now you take some figurine wraps and take the last bundle of flash like that, about 60-40 there. Also on top, and around, use your thumbnail just to push it onto the tubing. Now you can take some if you want, but all this head is going to be sealed up with some Gorilla Glue, so I don't want that now. Now it's just take it out like that and try not to break it by losing. Now I take this snip it off. You see it was a little loose there, but I can now change thread. Because now I'm going to just use this red thread here now to make a nice red head now on this fly. Push it out to the tubing. Just hold on to it. Make a nice red head. This is just for making the color of the head. It's not very important that what to do else. Try to push it, make some half hitches, several of them, to make it just stay there. Try to pull on it a little bit. Like that. Now I see that the metal has changed a little bit, so I have to see if this okay. Yes, it is, and push it onto the needle again and try to, well, how should I put on the feather? I'm gonna do that now. Take out two feathers, just the same length. measure out how long I want it. Just about same length as the back body. Snip out, snip off the ends, take the other side. That's about, maybe I should take a little longer. So it's about the same length. Now you make the complete color of the head. If you can get some stragglers there, so try to take them off without cutting your thread. That's right there. See if the tube is sitting on nice, and take some more half-inch. Well, now I've completed the tying. I'm gonna put on some ice. First I take some little dab of super glue onto my dubbing needle. You don't need much. Little dab on the sides here. And take out one eye from the sheet. Like that. And pull it, push it onto the head. If you take too much super glue, it will not cure so fast. Another one. Dab on the other side. And the same procedure. Just place it onto there. Let it stay a minute, and then you start with filling up the head with the glue. Well, now we see that this eyes are staying there, and now I'll take my Gorilla Glue and take off the cap, remove all this hardened glue on the top. Take out a little dab. Like that. And use your needle just to distribute it all around. And I have to say that to work with this kind of glue, you need I use a drying wheel. to put this tube fly onto the drying wheel after I have put on some glue, because that I can just let it stay there and it's getting cured after a while, and I can take it out and use it. And but if you don't have that, you can use your vise and turn it around, or of course use UV glue if you can stand that. You don't have to use Gorilla Glue. This is completely usable with UV glue, of course, but I cannot use it because I'm allergic. Well, there you see, there is a complete fly. It just have to stay on the dryer now, and it will be ready to fish. This is a nice sea trout fly. It will always catch your fish and stay on your line all day. That's all I had, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, and like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and you will always get the latest video from me. Bye bye and tight lights.